Winning a federal government contract isn't just about finding the opportunity, it's about understanding the market behind it. Who's winning? How much are they getting paid? When do awards get released? And who can I team up with to increase my chances of winning? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use analytics and insights to get answers to these questions. We want to understand our competition, figure out our pricing, and see who could possibly be a partner that we can work with on a specific government contract. So we can go from chasing contracts to winning contracts using a data-driven approach. So let's get into it. There is a story for every one of these federal government contracts that it's not explained or portrayed properly on sam.gov, and that's because there's lack of data that is needed for every federal government contractor. It's just information that you have to have and know to really stand against the competition and be able to make a data-driven approach or decision. So what I mean by that, with each one of these contracts, this is the same contract as the one we've just seen on sam.gov. We have all of these data points that are given on SAM, like the NAICS code, the product service code, the buyer, the agency, the sub-agency, the dates, and also the contact information. All of that is nice. But what we want to do is we want to go to the next step. To really have a data-driven approach, we want to understand the spending. That's why on SamSearch, I always go to market intelligence, awarded contracts, and partnerships to really get a solid idea of the landscape for this opportunity. For example, in the overview here in the market intelligence, we have the total number of awards over the past few years, their total value, the average award, and the median award. This is directly related to this specific opportunity. It's for the same NAICS code, product service code, and buyer. So when we see that the average award is kind of small, it's $118,000 and it's 53, but we see that it's active. There's a lot of opportunities in this specific space for that specific agency. So it gives us kind of an idea about what should we expect in terms of the median award, which is like the most common award, would be around this range. Average one, if we were to average out all of them, it would be 118. Now, there's just a glimpse of the landscape. We could go even further, and the stuff I'm going to show you later, it's more relevant, but this is just a breakdown of the opportunity. We want to see how we stand with the current set aside we have. So here we're seeing the set aside distribution for that specific agency for the product we're trying to sell. So this one is a maintenance for I would see it's like a generator. So it's very niche. We see that a lot of the opportunities and awards they don't have a set aside, but right after that, it's small disadvantaged businesses and 8A. $16.7 million of the spending went to small businesses and 8A businesses. And then you could see that Native American owned businesses are also well represented, but women owned businesses are not as much. And even when we see the breakdown of the business type that they were awarded contracts for these specific services by this specific agency, we see that most of it is for small businesses unless it was not specified. What this tells me, having an 8A or being a small business or small disadvantaged business aligns with the goals and requirements of this agency. They usually award to small businesses, Native American owned businesses. And if I am that, then I'm in a good place, because if they only, for example, award to veteran owned businesses and I don't have that certification, my luck is really up, even if this was a good opportunity for me. So it's very important to understand the set aside distribution for the specific agency and the product you're trying to go after. Now, once we have an understanding about the agency, we want to see the competition. And this is very important, and I'm going to highlight why. So here we're seeing top small business contractors for the Department of Interior, which is the same department as this one, for this specific NAICS code, which is 811310, and product service code J061. These are the same NAICS codes and product service codes as the contract we're looking into. Now we see that all of these companies have won contracts in that specific niche with the Department of Interior. As you can see, Department of Interior, and they range from $1.1 million to 7.5. Now each one of these competitors, you could think of them, is going to give me a lot of data points that are going to allow me to position myself to win just like they won. What I mean by that, let's say we click on this one, and now we have their profile on usaspending.gov. We see that they have been awarded 7.5 million through 3 transactions. We have their UEI code, and I'll get back to that because it's very important. We see the transaction over time. Most of their obligations were in 2025. We see that they only worked with the Department of Interior, but that's just broad information. We want to get detailed information about this company because I would like my company to win just like they won. They are in my space. They are in a contract. They won a contract in a niche that I am in, and I want to be like them. Or I want to align myself and present myself to the agency similar to how they've done it, because apparently it worked. So what I'll do is I'll take the UEI and I'll go back to SamSearch partnership search. It's on the left, capture partnership search, and I paste in their UEI. And now I see this company. Now, this is very key because I'm going to use the information and the intel SamSearch gives me about this company to really understand more about them. First, I would like to see their website. I usually go and see their website, see how they position themselves, what they focus on, what kind of business they are, because the information on USA spending is not enough. So I'd like to see their website. And with SamSearch, I was able to pull it out easily, as you can see here. And then the next thing I would like to see is their certification. What kind of certification does this business have? In this case, they don't have certifications. But if they do, I would like to see, how did these certifications benefit them? Do I need to have some sort of certification to win these government contracts? Do I need to partner with people who have these certifications? So this is another important data point. Now, third and most important, I would like to see their past performances. Now, we have two past performances on SamSearch. We have the DSPS past performance history. So we could see, for example, they won this contract in 2020 for $1.9 million. And then we have here the USA spending profile. We see that they have here a rehab phase 1. I could go and look into their full profile and see what contracts that they have won. This one, for example, is a big one, very similar to what we're doing right now, the contract we're looking into right now. So this way I have a deep understanding of this competition. I could align my website, understand the certification, see their past performances. So I understand the landscape, understand my competition, and I can understand what it takes to really win a government contract like this. Another thing and key important, we're going to talk about partnerships, but these companies could also possibly be a partner. And with the SamSearch partnership search, you have their contact information, the phone number, the email, the website, the SBA profile. So you have all the contact information you need to actually reach out to them. Now, once we have an understanding about the competition, we need to understand the spending. And why is that? Because all agencies, they run on a schedule. They have a specific kind of timeline. And understanding how the money flows and their patterns over time allows us to predict when they are going to release contracts, when they are going to award them. So for example, with this agency, we see that they have a lot of activity for this specific NAICS code around Q4 and Q2. So in the past few years, we see that Q4 is always higher than Q1, Q2, Q3, but also we see some movement in Q2, as you can see in Q2 of 2024, Q2 of 2025, and now Q4 of 2025, and we're not even in Q4. They already have spending of $275,000. What this tells me, around Q4, there's a lot of opportunities by this specific agency for the services or products I provide or sell. So it's important that I have some sort of a notification or alert around this time telling me to look into opportunities by the Department of Interior. Also, another thing is to understand the sub-agency, because we want to develop partnerships. Having the Department of Interior, it's very large, and we want to understand where's this money going for this product service. So in this case, we're talking about maintenance of equipment, electric maintenance of equipment. We see that most of the spending is by the Department of Affairs of Indian Education and then the National Park Services. So we can get the contact information of people in those agencies. And that's something the SamSearch SP specialist search could help you with. So if you filter by the Department of Interior, we see that there are just a lot of offices, and knowing exactly which one we want to go after would help us a lot. So this contract is for the Department of National Park Service. So we need contact information, small business specialist in the National Park Services. And as you can see here, we have all the contact information. So understanding where the spending goes based on the sub-agency is also very important, because the agency is large and huge. When we talk about departments, we need to know the exact sub-agency and who really spends the most on what we sell. And in this case, it's the Bureau of Indian Education, but this specific contract is the National Park Service, and we see that they spend a lot on that. Now, finally, the geography, and this one is based on the contract, but in a lot of cases, it's important for you to know which state there's a high concentration of these contracts. In this case, we see that a lot of the spending is going in Phoenix. So you could get kind of a data-driven approach to understanding where you should look for specific contracts. And if your state, if it's something physical like this one, and you're assigned a specific location, you would want to see the kind of trend when it comes to the location. Now, once we're done with the market intelligence, I'd like to see awarded contracts. And this is a key one for setting up a pricing strategy. We want to develop a competitive price, but how can we develop a competitive price by not knowing what the market rate is and what the government expects when it comes to these specific contracts? What this lays out for us is the government or the agency's pattern of spending when it comes to this exact service. So we see that here we're talking about equipment repair, so commercial and industrial machinery and equipment repair and maintenance, and we're specifically targeting that service and product code for small businesses. So we're kind of targeting all the filters. We're targeting the NAICS code, the product service code, the set aside code. And based on that, we want to see which contracts align the most with the one we're looking at so we can get an idea of what the pricing should be or what the pricing is expected. Again, we're seeing here the median and average of these contracts based on 100 plus contracts and the minimum and the maximum. This is not enough. What we want is we want to find a contract that's the most similar to the one we're looking at, see the pricing, see the requirements of it, and then use that as evidence, or we could actually look at multiple data points to see what exactly we want to price our bid. Because here the range is huge. We have 2.6 on one hand, and then we have $10,000. So what we're trying to look within this list is which one is the closest. So this one, for example, is construction repair T2, T3 transformers. Might be very relevant to the generator maintenance we're looking at, might not be. You have to have the expertise and the knowledge. In this case, to be honest, I don't. But what I'm trying to show you is with each one of these, we're trying to see the one that is similar. This one looks similar. It has the same title. It was won by this company, and it was $77,000. And it was very recent. It's 2023 to 2026. This one is a prime example for me to know what to expect. I could click on this and get more information on USAspending.gov. I could scroll to the bottom. This is also a key thing that I would like to show you, and see the competition details. So you can see the competition, you can see the acquisition details, and the compensation as well, if it's provided here. But we here get more information about this award that is very similar to the contract we're looking at. So this way you are making an educated pricing decision. And a lot of businesses, they find it very, very challenging to price their bids to be competitive, but also to allow for a margin of profit. When you are following a data-driven approach, like the one I'm showing you here, you remove the room for ambiguous decision making, or you're not sure about your pricing, because you are seeing contracts that have been awarded within the exact same space as yours, with the exact same NAICS code, product service code, and set aside code. It can get closer than this for making a calculated, educated decision when it comes to pricing. If this contract, let's say it was a set aside for a small business, but you're not a small business, or let's say you want to find subcontractors, or you want to find partners in general, the partnership tab here will allow you to find people in that space that have worked or want to work with the government. So we're very specific that these are vetted businesses. They're not just businesses from Google. They are businesses, and you can see for each one of them, their listed NAICS codes, their contact information, their website, their name. And if you want to get more information, you could always utilize the partnership search on SamSearch. So let's say we want to get more information than the NAICS code, the email, and the phone number of this company. What we can do is we can go back to the partnership search on SamSearch and paste their name, and we get their full profile. We get their certification if they have any, we get their past performances, the NAICS code, the contact information. So this way, this profile has a score of 14, wouldn't have a lot of past performances and certification. But if it did, and in a lot of cases they do, if we have a look, maybe at this one has a 31 score, you're able to get a lot more details, the website, the NAICS code, the past performances. So you're strategically choosing to partner with businesses that either want to work with the government or have worked with the government, they have past performances, they have certification. So this is the easiest way to actually find partners, and you can get all the information again using the partnership search. But this is very specific to this specific contract. We found 10 potential partners that would align with the contract we're looking at. And that's a key distinction. We're not just getting partners randomly. We're choosing ones that are within this NAICS code, this product service code, and same goes for all what I've shown you. So we are trying to move from spray and pray. We're trying to move from just pricing and setting pricing based on a random metrics. We are now choosing to follow a data-driven approach by understanding the market intelligence, understanding the awarded contracts, and finding partners that are really willing to work with us and have worked with the government in a lot of cases. So I hope this was helpful. I would like you to actually move forward with this approach. Following this approach will get you more wins because it's a data-driven approach. It's the approach that is followed by all established companies in the government contracting space. A lot of them have people that hire people to actually do this market research for them. It doesn't get easier really than this. So if you'd like to get access to this platform, samsearch.co, you'll be able to get access to all things government contracting. What I've highlighted today is the analytics, the partnership, and the small business specialist search. But there's just a lot of things that you could really explore when it comes to government contracting on SamSearch. It's by far the easiest and best platform for doing government contracting. So if you're serious about this, about government contracting, about taking your business to the next level, make sure to get it. I'll leave a link in the comments and in the description. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.